Professor Zhang Yuejiao is a lawyer, a university lecturer, and an arbitrator of the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. She is the first Chinese national to serve as a legal counsel to the World Bank, the first Chinese Director General of the European Bureau of the Asian Development Bank, the first Chinese Executive Director of the West African Development Bank, and the first Chinese judge and chair of the Appellate Body of the WTO. Throughout her career of almost 5 decades, she has worked to enhance her professional knowledge and expertise. She said she has never been interested in personal wealth and fame. All she has ever wanted to do is to contribute to her country, to give back to society, and to help create a peaceful world for everyone. Hello and welcome to this edition of Icon. I'm Ji Xiaojun at the campus of Tsinghua University in Beijing, where I had the interview with Professor Zhang Yuejiao. When I first met her in Shanghai, I was amazed by her extraordinary life and career. She made a lot of record being the first when working for many international organizations, including the WTO and the World Bank. And in her 70s, she's still very active on the international stage and still doesn't really have a plan to retire. And she told me her principles are keep learning, make it happen, never say no. Professor, welcome to Icon.
Welcome you to Tsinghua University.
Right. Before we start our conversation, here is a little cushion. I mean, this is your cushion. Well, this is like a tailor-made one. Looks great.
When I made a seminar at the 解放日报.
Use it.
We can share it.
make yourself comfortable.
Okay.
We met for the first time in Shanghai when attending the Import Expo in Shanghai, and I wanted to book you, but you've been always busy, and finally we're now sitting here, we're having this conversation, and also congratulations on the book.
Yeah, just a small token. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an autobiography. This is more about your life since the study years until so many, I can't believe it, so many important titles you've held. I have to keep a record of what you've been doing until now. Even you're still busy doing your international work. You started from the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Economic Cooperation, and then Asian Development Bank, and also World Bank, and also West African Development Bank, and now you're an arbitrator on China's International Trade and Economic Arbitration Commission, and you're also the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. Did I miss any organizations or titles?
Yeah, I think you cover, except the WTO, the World Trade Organization.
And also World Trade Organization.
Yes.
How did you manage to fulfill all these duties for all these important international organizations, and we only see the names in reports?
I think I was very fortunate to get these opportunities to join those famous international organizations. It's really a golden opportunity for me to express my views and to make my own contribution as a Chinese, and also to learn from other countries and to learn from the international communities, particularly for public international law scholar. It's a golden opportunity. So I highly appreciate this opportunity. That's why many scholars, my former colleagues, professors, and staff, friends, they ask me, push me to write down what I have seen, what I have done, what my thoughts, my contribution. Even I believe that I just did a little contribution, but I want to tell the truth, the history, and also to review my life and to continue to do more to the community, to the world peace and justice.
In her biography, Professor Zhang Yuejiao records her life since childhood. The major focus is her work with international institutions such as the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and the WTO. When you look at your career, and when do you think are the most rewarding moments to you personally?
There are sometimes it's different, but also a continuation, because always in the legal field. For instance, at the Asian Development Bank, the most rewarding time for me is I led the preparation of the summit meeting of Mekong regions. And the Mekong region for us, because our neighborhood countries, very important to China, and work together, we built up a common road, and we built up a telecommunication and education system. So we set up the working system. Even until today, the 6 countries get together. The very first one was difficult, very challenging. I hosted the senior official meetings. I co-hosted with the planning minister. He is still in Cambodia. And also I brought many new ideas and visions, such as local capacity building, and our corporations should have demand-driven, because not the World Bank money talk just impose them. So all those countries, ministers, they highly appreciate my views. Certainly it was difficult too, because my very first project, I traveled across Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan in wintertime, icing road. So the trucks stop in the middle of the road. We just push the car. And then we decided we need to modernize the customs office. Now still the customs office, trade facilitation came from there. Yeah. So nowadays we see that many countries, they realize the trade facilitation is so important. So I can do something. And professional speaking, I highly appreciate my more than 8 years professional service at the Appellate Body. Yeah. Because it's a legal issue, treaty interpretation, covering trade in goods, trade in services, agriculture, technology, and all those subsidy, anti-dumping. So making me more knowledgeable. I'm happy.
Not only making you more knowledgeable, it's almost like since those early days in the 1980s, and you were involved in so many important periods of Chinese legal system establishment, and now you're seeing the results. Yes. I still remember last time, the first time we met in Shanghai, you mentioned...
Good memory.
Yeah, the river in front of the hotel.
Really? It
was not like that, it was clean, and you said, I helped clean this river. And I think these moments are the most rewarding moments for you personally.
You are right. Because now, for instance, when I see the dispute on export of apples from New Zealand to Australia, it was pending for 90 years, 90. But after our decision, now they can export, import, export. So peaceful solution of dispute. The same thing for the current cases I'm handling. Even it's difficult, many very, very challenging, but I work for the world peaceful solution of dispute.
So however challenging, you never say no. And those rewarding moments not only exist in China, but in other countries too.
Thank you.
Personal accounts of remarkable people, visionaries who see the world in a different way, celebrities who open their hearts and share their secrets, ordinary people who have done something extraordinary. Life stories to inspire you with Icon on CGTN. For you, the international experience, the first time was in 1964. I mean, when we talk about Yeah, when we talk about Chinese students studying abroad, people would have the impression that after 1978, after China adopted the opening policy. But your case was long before that, 1964. How did this happen?
I was preparing my final exam to entrance exam to university. I was preparing to study medical science. But after, suddenly, the school president came to me. He said, "Congratulations, you are selected to go to France."
Did you know what that meant?
I was surprised. When I returned home, I mentioned to my parents. They were so happy. They prepared very good food for me. The whole family celebrate, because they know it's not only an entrance into university, but also into very important Western countries' university.
Did you have any idea of what it meant to you personally, or did you have any expectations at all about the future to have that opportunity?
Frankly speaking, I didn't think so much, my future, but I just enjoy the
great opportunity.
The great opportunity. I was determined to do the best job and to study hard. Because, at the time, people's life very difficult. Even in my own life, because I have 3 brothers, they have no food to eat. So I feel every day when I study in France, we can get bread, cheese, and sausage, but I was always think about our farmers. So I feel a mission, also a demand that I need to study very, very hard, and after my graduation, I immediately to go home to serve my country.
But Professor, as a teenager, so when you were studying in France, what you had in your mind was the country, not yourself, not your individual life.
At the time, frankly speaking, I was very thankful to my high school studies. I spent 6 years at Shida Fuzhong, one of the best schools in Beijing. At the time, the education is comprehensive, not only on foreign language, Chinese history, physics, all those very important, but also on the political science and country's development road, and also those examples like Leifeng, follow the example of Leifeng, and also the firm book, Soviet Union book, very famous, How the Steel Was Tempered. So I read that book with great attention. I remember until today every word he said, that you should work hard, you should contribute to the society. So when you remember what your path, you can see that I'm proud that I didn't lose my time, and I contribute to the world common objective.
So at the time you were trained that way, and
yes.
You truly believed that the study is not only for yourself but for the country.
Yes, but not only for the systemic study, but also before going to France, we had the privilege at the time, first time, to take a flight to Shanghai to visit the very important steel mill and the important manufacture center in Shenyang. So we are proud of China's achievement. And at the time, I remember that they also invited returned students from Soviet Union to share their experience.
So how long did you study in France?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, but afterwards, I returned back to France for another 2 years.
So
to study and to work.
To study and to work. Professor Zhang is the first Chinese national to serve as a legal counsel to the World Bank, the first Chinese Director General of the European Bureau of the Asian Development Bank, the first Chinese Executive Director of the West African Development Bank, and the first Chinese judge and chair of the Appellate Body of the WTO. It isn't by chance that she has achieved so much. The secret to her success has been her determination to keep absorbing knowledge and seize every opportunity to learn. While she was working at the World Bank, Professor Zhang revised for the TOEFL exam afterward and even completed a master's degree in law. Professor, at the time you were already the international staff working for the World Bank. You already speak a foreign language. You're already an established, not a diplomat, but a specialist in a certain area. You could have just chosen not to put yourself that much. You didn't have to pursue another degree. You didn't have to start another foreign language. Just take a step back and take it easy.
I have to learn as much as possible, not only for the degree, but I have spent all my weekends and vacations to take another 5 courses. The same thing I did also at Columbia University. So I just eager to learn because I want to be a real legal expert, not empty talk. So we need a solid knowledge. So when I look back, the materials I have, reviewed, signed, read, I couldn't, imagine how much time I have spent for those. I really, enjoy meeting all those outstanding world-class scholars, legal experts, like international public law. Professor Schachter, now he passed away, and the professor supposed to be the contract father in the United States, Farnsworth. We have been working together at UNIDROIT to prepare the general principles of commercial contract. And I returned to Columbia and I took his class. He was surprised. You are so good. Why you should come back to me? I said, that's a good golden opportunity. I can learn deeply your experience. I think a learning process is a difficult process. You have to have the courage and vision and determination. Because if you want to be knowledgeable, you have to spend time to learn. So my whole life, I just keep learning.
Even at the time, you were already an established scholar and expert, you kept learning because you had in your mind, like when you were in France, that country needed you. You were not only studying for yourself as an individual, but you were studying for the country because you believed that this was the right thing to do. Do you think all the time and efforts that you spend in your work for the country, for international organizations, as an individual, as a person, is it worth it?
Overall, it's worth, it's a great value to myself and to the job that I'm taking, and also enhance my professional competitiveness, because at the international level, if you want to compete with other scholars and experts, you have to enrich your expertise as much as possible. You know, particularly for international legal position, until today, very few Chinese who can take that challenge, because at the beginning they were blocked from entering into the door because they believe that your legal knowledge is limited, your language is not sophisticated enough, because you have to have legal writing, legal reasoning, legal debating. It's on-the-spot legal debating, even in Chinese, you know, is a challenge. But if you in foreign languages, so certainly it's a challenge. You have to keep doing, perfecting your knowledge and your professional skills.
You wanted to prove them wrong.
Yes, yes. And the end of the result is very good. I feel very comfortable, and also particular when they said it's very good, because you know the Financial Times, the UK Financial Times, and also the US Wall Street Journal, they wrote an article on me. The subtitle said that Madame Zhang, great legal expert, tough negotiator, 3 languages, by bicycle. That's the subtitle. Once the second day, some news reporters came to the Ministry of Trade in the front of the gate, asked me, why you're still with ride bicycle? I said, it's good for health, and it's for the environment protection. And I have no money to buy a car. Even I have a driver license. Zhang Yuejiao, professor at Tsinghua University. You are watching Icon on CGTN.
Even in her 70s, Professor Zhang Yuejiao continues to learn and to make personal progress. After her retirement, she continues to make contributions to international institutions and to universities in China. What her life story reveals is that this is a tough lady who is always happy to take on new responsibilities. But what about her vision for the future? Personal wealth is not something that you pursue.
No.
So what is it that you pursue?
I think it's because I see so many poor people in China, and nowadays a lot of improvement, but still many poor people in Africa, in Latin American countries. I feel that really we have a mission to narrow the gap, to do more contribution, to make the world peaceful and equitable and fair to everybody. Certainly what can I do is limited. I'm just a small potato. But if I keep improving myself and accumulating experience, I can do more. I'm confident. You know, each time my performance evaluation at the World Bank, at the Asian Development Bank, at the Western African Development Bank, at the World Bank, the WTO, all the best results. So I got promotion, for instance, in the Asian development very often, every year. Initially, they have misperception on you because you come from China, they don't know much. But once you can deliver your performance very persuasive, and then they recognize. You know, maybe you read, after my work with the WTO and the Georgetown University, the Board of Governors, they made an important decision to issue a doctoral degree for me. The honorable is, they told me the first Asian staff, professional staff to receive. They said congratulations to Professor Zhang's 30 years contribution to law and justice. They mentioned a lot of, they know a lot of information on me.
Yeah.
It means when you are doing, the whole world is watching on you.
My impression is you're a tireless lady. You always work very hard and one important job after another. And if you would like to choose a few words to describe yourself, Professor, what would be those words?
I just, very difficult to, I want to say that to determine, to have a vision, to work hard, and to achieve the objective, not for yourself, but also for the country and for the world.
Did you always have that vision in your mind, and even when you were young?
Particularly after, you know, having worked in so many international organizations, I feel that I'm confident. And also as a Chinese, we should do more, because China is a great nation and takes an important part in the whole world, political, economic, and social arranger. So I think that the outside world, they know not as much as we do. So I think as a passenger, we should do more. And as a professional, we need also to do more, to have more professional exchanges, particularly to do the arbitration, to do the real cases, to give justice, objective decisions to the parties, to the world rule of law, very important.
So you're now the professor at Tsinghua University. You teach young students. What do you think, based on your own personal life, your personal experience, and your career, what do you think would be the most important message that they should learn from your example?
I think that they should know to have a good vision and mission on their shoulders. They should know the directions they should go, and certainly aspiration, very important, and determination, very important. Just always work in the future and to achieve as much as possible. And I like a word, make it happen, not empty talk, make it happen. A solid knowledge.
Yeah, solid knowledge. Keep studying, make it happen.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Professor, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.